Hello, I'm back from a completely different angle today. This is, as you can tell, not where I filmed my first two videos. It is also a completely separate day. I have got changed. But yeah, hi, I'm Hannah. I'm a historian, wannabe historian, theatre lover, book lover, and at the moment I am about to start packing for a trip to Alton Towers. I've got some annual leave booked up, and later this week I will be in Alton Towers with my mum and my sister. Having a look through yesterday, I've got footage that I filmed about 2 years ago there that I might clip into this video because I was always going to do like a montagey TikTok thing, which never materialised, so all of that footage is portrait, unfortunately. This video, I don't know when it'll be coming out, probably either end of this week, beginning of next week, because I'm going to sort of roll it all over into one big video, and I'll try and take something this weekend or later this week as well that I can sort of tag on the end here. But yeah, I thought I'd film a little introduction here because I don't know when I'm going to be able to film anything again, and I do want to try and upload at least once a week. It's a bit of a lofty goal that I've set for myself, and I'm not sure how long I'm going to be able to keep that up, but I am going to give it a good go. Yeah, so I think if I leave you now with some of that footage from that old trip, hope you enjoy that. I'll edit it together a little bit. The intention of it was always to do a bit of a how we do Alton Towers, like the best way to spend a couple of days there, because we usually stay on site. So I might still do that, I don't know, it'll just be a little bit of fun, and it's mainly so I can practice editing stuff together, because it's not something I've got a huge amount of experience with, but I really enjoyed putting together my last video, which for me went up yesterday, but for you I'm sure went up about a week ago. But yeah, hopefully you enjoy, and I will check back in at the end of this video, which will be a completely different day, and I will look slightly different, and I'll probably be in a different place as well filming it. So yeah, enjoy. This recent trip was the first time that we'd been to Alton Towers since Nemesis got retracked, and seeing as it's one of my favourite rides of all time, we decided to start there. Obviously I took some videos of the eye update as well. As much as I missed the old one, this is definitely an improvement. Now the next clip you're going to see is from me going on Toxicator in a moment of madness.
Hannah is on the death machine.
My sister very kindly filmed this for me, so you will hear some of her voiceover through this. Also, the quality of the camera is slightly different. She used her phone, not mine.
There she is. She's the one in the green. Green and white curly. Oh. She really does stand out. She matches the ride.
Oh my days.
Oh.
That other voice you can hear popping in there saying, "Oh my days," is my mum, who genuinely thought I'd lost the plot when I decided I was going to go on this ride.
Oh my god!
Well, she's smiling. At least she's not crying.
I was, in fact, very nearly crying. I don't think I've ever been so scared as I was on this ride.
Oh god.
What is the deal with that? You can't see it through it.
Here we go. Safe and sound, and she's not passed out, so maybe she'll use this for a YouTube video.
Well, it turns out she was right. I am using it for a YouTube video. And after the shock wore off from Toxicator, we went for a walk through the rest of the park, taking in some of the new theming before going to the main reason why we were at the parks this time, which was to do the House and Gardens tour. Now, we've always loved walking around the gardens, and I've always been fascinated by the towers themselves, but Alton Towers have never really done that much to make the most of the heritage that they've got. This tour was £10 per person, and for the value that we got out of it, I really think it was worth doing. The tour in total took about 2 hours. We had 2 tour guides with us, and it was just really interesting to walk around these places that I feel like I've been visiting forever, really. I've been going to Alton Towers since I was about 8 years old, and now I feel like I know a lot more about them. I took a lot of footage on this tour. I did double check. They were more than happy for me to film and for it to be uploaded places. And I really don't know what to cut out, because there's some amazing stuff that we got the chance to see that most people might not get the chance to. So I will leave it in here. I might cut it down a little bit just because there is such a lot of it. And I will jump in the next time that I have something to update you on. given the towers are right in the middle of a theme park, I was actually shocked by how few people have had the chance to go inside of them before. I know that sometimes they use them for their horror mazes, and there is a ride actually in part of the building, but for the most part these towers are completely abandoned. Now, for years I've been fascinated by abandoned architecture and buildings. I've watched many a YouTube video, gone down many a YouTube rabbit hole about these subjects, but to actually be inside of one that is in the middle of one of the biggest theme parks in the UK was quite a surreal experience. So I think you can tell from these videos that I was really trying to make the most of being in there and trying to get as many shots of the theme park and those rooms as I could before we had to move on to the next part of the tour. Now, this clip shows exactly why they're not open to the public. All of that is graffiti that has ended up on the walls over the years. And obviously they're trying to avoid any further deterioration of these towers. But the next couple of clips are quite possibly some of the coolest experiences I've had in this theme park. Now, we spent quite a bit of time up on the roof walking around. You can see my mum there with her purple phone. Everyone was just making the most of taking videos and photos and just trying to capture as much of this tour as they could. And our tour guides were so knowledgeable. They knew so much about every aspect of these buildings and the park itself and the gardens. And it just seemed like every question that we asked them, they had the answer ready to go. It was really nice to be shown around by two people who were so genuinely passionate about what they were doing. And as someone who has tour guided before, I did it for a year as a job, I know it's so much fun, but it can be so difficult. And this was not an easy walk either. There was a lot of walking involved. And if I was them, I would not have been able to remember everything and keep talking while walking. It just seemed exhausting. I can see why they don't do these too often, but I think it would be a real shame if they didn't start putting on more tours for people, because they did just add so much to the day. This clip is one of my favourites. It's not super impressive, but as this camera pans down and you look at the floor, you'll be able to see the old tiles from the kitchen from when the towers were in use as a stately home. Those white and black tiles down there have sort of survived, and they're some of the very few original fixtures that are still actually in these buildings. I'm sure you could see from the previous clips, these towers are pretty much completely gutted. They were used during the war for the military, and they actually, as we found out, left it pretty much intact. It was after the war, when a lot of stately homes were being demolished in the UK, that the towers fell into ruin, and it became a bit of a struggle between keeping the towers standing and keeping them full. Thankfully, the people in charge at the time kept them standing, so they are still surviving. Admittedly not in the best shape, but at least with these tours happening, people are learning more about them and the history that they hold.
So what happened was a lot of the land was actually stripped on the roof to build the source of the gardens. That was Dennis Bowshaw's passion project. The original tile was as well. Probably not best for modern conservation. There we go. It's really John Bruno and the Bagshaw family. in French, press to confident, which means ready to accomplish. Just that. We've got the original cast by Atkinson Fireplaces. In this one at the far end, the original fusion designs, artwork as well. You can see the original sketches for those. They've got them in. I've nailed my colours to the maps, all of them. Sadly, neither Fusion nor the 16th Earl ever lived to see this room complete in 1856, as they both died.
Just to talk a little bit more about the setup of the tour, everyone who is on the tour, so that is all the people that have paid to go on the tour, actually carry around a little radio type MP3 player thing. I'm not really sure what it's called, but it has one earphone in it, so you sort of hook it over your ear and the tour guides are talking into microphones and that is transmitting to the whole group. It was a really, really good way of doing the tour because it meant that you never missed anything. You could control the volume yourself. If you wanted to take the earpiece off, you could. And it also meant that the tour guides weren't having to shout the whole time. So a lot of these clips, you can just sort of hear them talking quite quietly in the background. I could actually hear everything they were saying, which was really, really helpful. Another benefit of this was when people were asking questions, it meant that the whole group didn't need to hear the answer. If it wasn't a question that everyone had, the tour guides could just turn the microphones off and have those sort of more intimate conversations with people. Now, we did stay 2 days at the parks, and originally I was going to make this video a sort of vlog of the whole time that we were there, but there are so many other content creators out there who do really amazing Alton Towers videos, and I just don't feel like there's any need for me to jump in on that bandwagon. So I'm gonna finish this off now with this last couple of clips of the Alton Towers Hotel. It was really quite quiet while we were there. It was the tail end of the summer holidays and I don't think I've ever seen it so quiet. But a couple of days ago I filmed this clip, which is a nice conclusion to the video. I think the main thing that I wanted to highlight was the tour itself, so I really don't feel the need to carry on this video any further. I'll leave you now with this conclusion from me, and I really hope that you enjoyed this video. So, things have changed since those last couple of clips. I fully intended to get that video filmed, edited, uploaded within a week. Yeah, full disclosure, it's been about a month, maybe slightly longer, since I was in Alton Towers. I've dyed my hair, for one thing. I've changed up my look a little bit. This was a decision that was made in Alton Towers. We're now about a month into that, so yeah. Basically what happened is I really enjoyed making my first 2 videos, editing them, uploading them, and then I just sort of stopped. I edited together all the bits that I said I was going to edit together in that first clip that you saw of me stood in the corner of this room packing stuff up. And then just never sat down to film anymore. I kept putting it off and sort of making excuses like, oh no, it's too late in the day, I can't be filming now. It's currently 8:30 at night and I've just had a burst of creativity almost. Not creativity, but just sort of the drive to turn my camera on again. So I'm trying it with the front camera this time rather than the back camera, so the quality might be a little bit different. And like I said, it's also 8:30 at night and we are sort of well into autumn now, so it's dark, and if this looks awful, I won't do this again. But just to get me back into it, I thought I may as well do something rather than nothing. So yeah, I had a really, really lovely time in Alton Towers. It's one of those places that I just genuinely feel really happy and comfortable, and I sort of know where everything is and I know what I like to do there. You will have seen a clip of the ride Toxicator, the new ride. I was fully intending to not go on that, and then in a moment of insanity, the first day we got there and I just sort of went, no, I'm going to go on it. And it was terrifying. and I was so tense on it that I pulled a muscle in my leg, which I had to sort of live with for the rest of the trip, but that was fine. It was worth it. It was fun. And I like doing things like that just make me happy. So yeah, that was a proper fun couple of days. I really enjoyed it. What I really wanted to jump on here and talk about was probably the highlight of my trip, which is like the sad history nerd in me coming out. But we did and I've got the little map here, but it's called the Iconic House and Garden Tour, which is not something that they've done before. I think this was about £10 per person, so it was me, my mum and my sister. We all paid the £10 to join a guided tour with, and it very helpfully says here, with Stephen and Jake. They were two very, very passionate workers who worked at the towers. They work on different rides, but they were really fantastic tour guides and knew so much about the history of the towers, and that is something that's always fascinated me. I know going back years and years you could walk around the towers, but for as long as I've been going, that's since about 2008, you've not been able to. And to me it never really made sense that they didn't make more of it, because I don't think there's many places in the world, theme parks especially, that have this incredible sort of historical asset right at the centre. If you don't know Alton Towers, it's built around the Towers, which is a manor house, which was sort of expanded on for years and has got pugin rooms and all sorts. It's a really, really beautiful building that was sort of left to fall into disarray after the Second World War. But as I learned on the tour, it wasn't there was a lot of houses falling into disarray because no one could afford to keep them. So the fact that this one survived at all is really impressive, even if it is sort of in ruins now. And people do still love it, and the theme park is sort of built up around it. And it was just fascinating to be able to walk in, and you'll see some clips in that video of me sort of stood in the towers looking at roller coasters going, and there was just something really, really special about that, because it's such a sort of special place to me. I just love going there, and it's such a family place. So being able to do that and sort of bring in how much, experience that with people that I care about, and experience something that I'm so interested in, and to get the chance to walk around was so, so cool. They did say that they, I believe, had 2 dates this year they were allowed to do these tours. I think the higher ups at Merlin are a little bit hesitant to let this happen all the time. And I would say if you get the chance to do it, because it adds so much to the trip and it makes it so much richer, because you can still have a lovely day and you do this 2-hour walk around the gardens and the house and you learn so much, and you're just being talked to by these 2 people who genuinely love what they're doing. Like, they wouldn't be doing these tours if they didn't love it. I believe they're the ones that put it together as well, so it's all their research, and it's just nice to see 2 people who've gone to a company and said, look, I think this would really, really work, and the company said, fine, prove it. And they have, as far as I can tell. So yeah, if you're there on a day these tours are happening, I would highly, highly recommend doing it. For £10, it's an absolute steal. I used to tour guide at the Royal Mint Experience in South Wales, and that was a 45-minute tour, and I think you were looking at least £15 per person, if not sort of £20-25 during peak times. And that was a really good tour as well. I'm not knocking how good our tours were, we were fantastic. But it's just, for the amount of time you get and the experiences you get that people otherwise don't get, definitely worth doing. And I think there's something really interesting to be said here as well about this potential for Universal to be coming to the UK, which is something I'm very excited about. And yes, I am on all the job notifications for it. Nothing's come up yet though that I feel like I could contribute to. I'm not building roller coasters anytime soon. So yeah, with this massive theme park coming to the UK, I think it's time that Merlin really sets itself apart. And Alton Towers can really do that, because one of the big draws of the UK is its history and the amount of history that we've got just everywhere. Like, you can see my flat is like old timber beams and it's older than some houses in America, which is insane. But yeah, I think Alton Towers could have a really, really good thing going if they start pushing these tours a little bit more as a bit of a USP, especially when they're going to end up in competition naturally with something as big as Universal. Yeah, it was just such a lovely trip, and this really made it. And I believe it was Jake was the younger of the two. I'm sorry if this ends up across anyone's page and they know any of these people, but he'd said this was the first guidebook that had been made for the gardens, sort of in, I can't remember how long he said, 50 odd years. And I just love it. It's the type of thing that I love doing in work. I work in a museum and I work on exhibitions, but whenever I get the chance to do a little bit of a design work or add something a little bit extra, I sort of jump on it. So I think there was just something so lovely about walking around holding this, and this is going in my junk journal as well. I'm going to be keeping this. So yeah, just a really, really fab tour. I've been talking for about 8 minutes. I don't know how. I'm probably going to just put this in as one. I think it's just a chatty video. There's a lot of and R in, but I'm not going to go through and edit all of those out. I'm not used to not saying it yet, so I'll just have to train myself a bit better, I think. Believe it or not, I do actually have another video that's unedited. It is, I need to stop saying I do have another video that should be coming to you soon. The irony of me at the beginning of this video saying I want to upload a video a week, and that was about a month ago and I've uploaded 2 videos, is not lost on me. But I did record I hesitate to call it a theatre review because I know I'm not a reviewer, but I spoke about Anne Boleyn the musical at Hever Castle at length, talking about my experiences there and some of my observations. Originally, when that was going to go up, it was still on. It was supposed to be sort of a help to get people to know if they want to go see it or whatever. Obviously, it's closed now. I've really, really missed the boat on that one, but I think I will still post it just for the sake of, I sat down and filmed a whole video, so I'm going to post it. I also feel a little bit better posting it now that it's not going to influence or de-influence people about going. Long and short of it is, I enjoyed it. I had some issues with the story and the setup, but it was fine. It was good. So yeah, stay tuned for my next video. It will be on that. I don't know what I'm going to do after that. I do really want to get back into making these again though. It is nice to be able to sit and just talk for a bit about things that I really, really love. I've had a bit of a rubbish day in work, which is what pushed me to turn my camera on again. And I think talking about things that make me happy is going to be my way of getting through just some not great things. Everyone has rubbish weeks in work, and this is shaping up to be one of them. For context, it is currently a Monday, so hopefully the week gets better. And hopefully I'll get this video up before the end of this week, and I will edit the other one and I will schedule that for next week. And hopefully this weekend I will film some more. I've got no plans this weekend, which I am actually quite happy about. I went through a phase of having loads and loads of weekend plans, and it just meant that I didn't get any time to relax. So I feel like I've been running on sort of 100% for a little bit too long. I feel like I burnt myself out a tiny bit just in life in general. So getting back into my usual habits and routines will be a good thing. And yeah, I hope that you stick around and hear a bit more. I've got some more theatre trips planned, which I didn't for a while, but 2 have snuck into my calendar, so that'll be exciting. Also, if you've got this far, I was thinking about doing a video. This was one of those videos I was going to do to begin with. It was going to be one of my earliest, where I was going to do a sort of halfway through the year, these are the shows I've seen so far. We are now heading into October. Is it a good idea to still do that, or shall I just wait until December and do every show I saw this year? I'm thinking it might be a better idea to do that. But let me know what you think. Thanks for staying to watch. I know this went a little bit rambly and weird at the end, but I just thought it would be nice to put a little update on here and talk about the thing I really wanted to talk about, which was this. I loved it. I had so much fun. It was great. I hope you enjoyed the videos and the clips I put before this. I haven't actually finished editing that yet. So far they're all together, but I don't know whether I've put music over them or whether I've talked over them. So you may be fed up with my voice by now. But just know that even when I say I'm going to post weekly, as I've proven, that is often not the case. So you might not have to listen to me too much. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope I'll see you again soon. Bye.